One of the biggest game releases of this week and of the last couple of weeks has been 6 Days in Fallujah. This game is a military simulation of the Iraq War. Obviously not a very fun time in history, but one that I think the game captures fairly well. Obviously I wasn't there, I don't know, but the crippling sense of anxiety that every single match I hop into in this game gives me, it's very palpable. So many doors.
Right.
Goodness.
Ooh. That was nasty.
Anyway, I don't really have anything to comment on the political side of this game at all. I want to talk about it as a game, and I want to thank also the developers for giving me a review code for this one. I really do appreciate it, it makes my job a lot easier. Anyway, 6 Days in Fallujah is co-op based, although you can play it solo, and it's a military sim, so everything's very realistic. And what happens when you jump into a mission solo is pain, a lot of pain, and that's exactly what I did, unbeknownst to me. It doesn't give you any AI companions on your side, you go in on your own when you play solo, and you know, you pay the price for that. This is like playing Armor. I don't see people. And then I die. Oh my god. Okay. Really? Anyway, after this solo mistake, consisting of 20 minutes of me not knowing where I'm being shot from, I jumped into co-op. This is where the game really opened up for me, and I could appreciate it. Before we talk about, the visuals and the sound design and all the technical bollocks, that comes later, let's talk about the co-op experience itself. First of all, you have proximity chat like Insurgency Sandstorm. This is really solid, I love this feature. When people are talking to you inside, it sounds like their voice echoes around. You have radios to communicate with a cool little animation that you do when you use them. And even enemy voices have these effects on depending on what environment they're talking or yelling in. It's really immersive. It's also really immersive to see your co-op friends without name tags unless you look directly at them. Obviously you can identify friendly and enemy from what uniform they're wearing or if they're wearing a uniform at all, and I really like that. Just something about these unmarked military men going through these courtyards and streets and you're one of them, and there's no HUD really at all apart from a little crosshair most of the time. It's seriously immersive. And working with a squad is really rewarding. Even with randoms, most people have mics when you join a lobby. I think only one person out of several matches didn't have their mic on, and they're all really friendly. So in my experience, it's a fun time. How close?
Around this wall.
Oh, fuck. Uh-oh. Anyway, let's jump into the more visual side of the game, because the visual presentation here is next level, to be honest. You can feel that this game was in the cooker for a very long time. The streets of Fallujah are cluttered with destroyed bricks, rubbish bags, or trash bags, I guess you call them in America. There's debris littered everywhere, and it makes for a very convincing city to fight in. I think that's really cool, and the fact that everything's procedurally generated also makes everything seem really cluttered and real, because it's new every time you go into it. The city is a maze, and each mission isn't too hard to navigate, but it makes it feel real. There are several doors you gotta blow open or kick down, narrow streets to navigate through and coordinate with your squad to move through without being shot or ambushed, and the visual design is top notch. Some of the stuff like animations are a little bit janky, but it's on a bit of a spectrum. I mean, the reload animations I wasn't too big of a fan of, they feel very weightless, but then there's animations like looking and tending to a squad mate or looking at yourself after you've been hit for checking for wounds. And that's really good. It's solid animation and it makes it feel really immersive when you crouch down and you see yourself check your body all over. And this translates to NPCs and other player models as well. Everyone has these cool animations, and it's only the reloads that made me feel a little bit weightless, and that was just on the M16 from what I tried out. Another great aspect to how the game looks and feels is its volumetric lighting. At least I think it's volumetric, I could be wrong. Especially indoors, you're clearing buildings and there's dust and fog all in these buildings because dust has been kicked up by shells and things are displaced. It feels real. It also adds to the fact that visibility can be poor at times, but it's not actually a bad thing. The game is aiming for realism and it's absolutely terrifying clearing a building not knowing what's 2 feet in front of you unless you blast your flashlight down that corridor. It's a scary experience, especially when you hear enemy combatants yelling all around you. Oh shit, okay.
Yeah, that way.
Yep, that'll do it.
Right down in there. Yeah, you're good now. Now I'd watch your ass up.
Yeah. It does remind me of Insurgency quite a bit with how terrified it makes you. And the sound design elevates this as well. It's pretty nuts with the bullets whizzing past you, the enemy callouts, the gunshots and helicopters and tanks in the distance. I'm a big fan. As for gameplay, some mechanics do feel a little bit clunky, but overall, feels pretty good. The only problem I had was leaning around corners. It has an auto lean on by default. I was not a fan of this whatsoever because it kind of messes up some angles that you're trying to peak by making you lean without any indication or input from you, but you can turn this on and enable manual leaning all the time, and I found that that fixed it completely, so thumbs up from me there, to be honest. Gunplay feels solid as well, weapons kick quite a lot as they should. Blasting LMGs down corridors and courtyards feels fun and terrifying as well, and they feel effective, and movement feels pretty solid as well. It's not on the levels of games like Squad and Armor with how, versatile the movement can be in terms of how fast you want to move and where you want to move. It's fairly basic, but it does the job and you have a sense of weight to you, so I can't complain. So yeah, 6 Days in Fallujah. An interesting one I didn't expect to be playing, and I know not really much about the war that surrounds it in real life, so I don't want to comment on how it's portrayed in the game. Although it does seem there is a lot of care put towards veterans of the war, with several in-game cutscenes or videos and stuff like that, which seems like a bit of a documentary highlighting different people's experiences. There seems to be a lot of work put into that, but I can't say about the actual game's accuracy to the war because I'm not educated enough on it. But as a game, it serves really well as a Milsim. And it's also fun while being really nerve-wracking and terrifying at points. It encourages good teamwork between the 4-player squads. And if you're looking at it and thinking, well, I'm on the fence, maybe wait for a sale because there isn't, reams and reams of content here at the moment since it is in early access. But if you're really dying for it, then I'd say go for it. It's terrifying, it's tense, and it's a very solid game, at least in my opinion. Sure, it does have a few caveats, but I'm more about the positive here, and I enjoyed my time with 6 Days in Fallujah. Anyway, thank you all for watching, I hope you did enjoy. If you did, feel free to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.